Welcome back to Setting with Ashley and Ashley. This is Exploring Esoterics. Hello, welcome to class, my friends. Alright, I don't think anyone's watching these, but I'm here recording them, okay? It's all good. Alright, today we're going to talk about birth charts. I am not an expert in this. I do have some friends who are way more well-versed, but as far as college courses are concerned, I'm going to explain what this is. I'm not reading your birth chart for that. I do have a really good recommendation. My friend Seta can do that for you. He is very well versed in natal charts. Okay. So this is a birth chart or a natal chart. So every time someone is born, there are alignments happening, right? So people ask you what your zodiac sign is, and usually what you tell them is where the sun was when you were born, right? So I'm a Pisces, which means that the sun was in Pisces when I was born, which is February, March, okay? End of February, beginning March. All right, so you probably know what your main sun sign is, but there are all the planets and all the zodiacs that show up in your natal chart. So the moon is doing something. So like right now, if someone was born today, they would be born into Virgo season. They would be born into probably an Aries moon at this point, because it was Pisces a couple days ago. So the natal chart, Aries is the beginning of the zodiac, of the Western zodiac, and Pisces is the end. So it goes Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Okay, so that's the order in which the zodiac is. And of those 12, there are 4 water. No, there are 3. 3 water, 3 earth, 3 fire, and 3 air signs. Okay, so all of the planets, all of the zodiacs, like houses, well, no, houses are their own thing. So there are lots of things that make up a natal chart. The planets, where the planets are, the sun being one of those planets, okay? But like Uranus, where is Uranus in your chart? Let's take a moment for our 5th grade selves. And then, so when I do tarot, when I read the tarot, I'm always talking about the correlation between the zodiac and the elements and the tarot. And that's another part of the zodiac, or the birth chart. So my birth chart is pretty even. I think I have, I had to take my socks off. I feel claustrophobic. I didn't think I had any air in my chart, but I do have some air. My Lucifer and my descendant is Libra, which is air. Other than that, I'm pretty much equal parts earth, fire, and water. Which, the reason that people study their natal charts or other people's natal charts, a lot of people study people's natal charts to manipulate them. I like to do it because some of my psychic gifts are about trauma, so I like to understand how people are and why they are. So as far as this, I'm going to just blurb this. I'm not going to read through all of these because it's a lot. But I want to at least make it make sense. So you have the planets, the zodiac, and the elements, and then you have the houses of the chart as well, which I am not an expert at by any means. I think I have it written down somewhere. The houses, so each of these, I'm gonna do a quick Google search. So each of these sections is considered a house, and then there's varying degrees in which the planets were. The houses and the degrees get me completely fucking lost. So if you want that, I would suggest going and learning more about that. I can't teach you that. What I can teach you is the relationship between the characteristics, because every planet has characteristics, every zodiac has characteristics, and every element has characteristics, and those characteristics come together to make up who and what you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, your things like that. So let me give you an example. So I have this organized by sign, element, and the ruling planet, and the characteristics. You can go to I'll put it in the description box below, astro.com, to get your natal chart made up for you. And it will usually, a lot of those websites, if you don't like that one, there's also Astro Cafe. There's a bunch of them. Just go to Google and type in natal chart calculator. You do need to know your place of birth, your time of birth, and your, I think that's the two most important things. I mean, your name, obviously, you know that. But you need to know your place and time of birth. Those are very important because the time will make a difference on what comes through. So if you are guessing the time of your birth, it might not be 100% accurate, okay? Alright. Let me just go through, I'm going to go ahead and go through these and just do it, just these two pages. Oh, I do have the houses. I didn't suck. Okay, so let me tell you about the houses, and then we'll go through the characteristics. So the first house, so each house is represented by one of the zodiac signs, and I already listed to you the ways in which those are represented in the zodiac. So like, this is a house, this is a house, this is a house. Okay, and those houses are broken down in the way in which I already told you the order that the zodiac goes in, okay? Alright, so houses correspond with each zodiac sign. Each sign has their own constellation and also corresponds with a ruling planet, okay? This is how we understand ourselves more fully in conjunction with the universe. We all have earth elements and different planet alignments that make us whole. Remember, we are all made of universal matter, and we are all here experiencing the earth and ourselves in human form, okay? So the first house is ruled by Aries, which is representative of the self, okay? Your second house is ruled by Taurus, which is money and value. Third house is Gemini, which is local community, short distance travel, siblings, and communication. Your fourth house is Cancer, home, like the sign of Cancer, not the disease of Cancer. Home and family in all generational forms. The fifth house is Leo, with joy, pleasure, sex, children, and dating. The sixth house is Virgo, with work, health, and daily routines. The seventh house is Libra, with commitments, partnerships, and marriage. The eighth house is Scorpio, with joint resources, intimacy, and transformation. The ninth house is ruled by Sagittarius, with exploration, philosophy, long-distance travel, law, and spirituality. The 10th house is represented by Capricorn, which is career, reputations, and goals. And the 11th house is greater communities, friendships, and dreams. And the last house, 12th house, is Pisces, which is self-undoing, subconscious, hidden talents, and weakness. So the houses kind of represent, if you think of it as in a relationship with tarot, because we use tarot over here too, think about, so Aries, from Aries to Pisces, there's this journey through, so you figure out who you are, right? And then your 12th house is about self-undoing. So it's about that ego death. It's about understanding that's who you are at this earthly plane, but also you're much more than that, right? That soul calling. So I hope that makes sense. So this is where it gets confusing for me, and my brain has a hard time with this part, because yes, these houses are all represented by, where is my chart? I think mine's right here. Let me see. Oh god. Hang on. I got all these books right here. My chart is right here. Hold on. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like. I don't know what the lines mean. But I'm just explaining what this is. So if you want to get your chart done, do it. This is mine. So these are the different, so you can see the lines. I'm all on one side. I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm learning my chart more and more. Who did I do this with? This is astro.com. So if you go there, you can get your stuff. And then they usually tell you about yourself. But this is my chart, and so there's this relationship between all of these planets. Again, I don't know what the lines mean. There's different degrees, but all of my stuff is like pretty heavy on one side. So what houses are these? Everything on mine resides in, except the two, what is that, Libra? I don't know. It's a good thing to understand, though. It's good to understand who you are and what you're doing. I mean, there's all these signs for all the planets and stuff. So, I mean, it's fun to learn about and explore. I think it's a good thing to know because it tells you who you are, you know? And it just helps you understand who you are better, like at a whole. So let me give you an example of some of the ways that these relationships, okay, so you have these houses, and then within each house you either have a planet, and that planet has an element, and that element has characteristics. Okay, so let's go through those. So Aries is a fire sign. Okay, fire is inspirational, confident, takes control, enthusiastic, action, fun, excitement, explorers, trailblazers. So those are some of the characteristics of fire energy. Not Aries, but fire. Okay, so again, there's 3 fire signs within the zodiac: Aries, Leo, and Sag. So the ruling planet of Aries is Mars. So that's aggression, passion, forcefulness, and masculine side. That is the card in the tarot that is in relationship to Aries, and Mars is the Emperor card, which is very much about all of those things. Trailblazing, like relentlessly, okay? Characteristics: childlike, fast-paced, impatient, fearless, self-involved, inconsiderate, natural, temperamental, active, fun-loving, enthusiastic, adventurous, and lively. Remember that Aries rules the first house. So no matter where your, so my first house on here, Aries is right here. Right here. This is Aries, this is Taurus, this is Pisces, Aquarius. So Aries is my first house, which rules the self. So what do I have in my first house? A fucking lot, actually. I have a lot in my first house. Interesting. So anyway, you know, when you want to learn about that, then you don't. Okay, so this is the first house, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. Okay. So that's an example of how there is a relationship there. Okay. I don't really feel like reading the rest of these. If you want a copy of the PDF, email me. Let me know. You can email me at ascendingwithashley@gmail.com. Leviosa. Anyway, okay. So that is that. I don't think I really, as long as he's not in here, I can read through these. I guess I will, just because then you can have copies of it. Okay, Taurus. So Taurus rules the second house, and that is material stuff, right? Taurus is ruled by, Taurus is an earth energy ruled by the planet Venus, and so it's money and value. So earth element attributes are physical, practical, stable, present, goal-oriented, very patient, work hard for success, one step at a time, sometimes rigid, materialistic. Again, the ruling planet of Taurus is Venus, which is love, romance, feminine side, social interactions, aesthetics, illusion, affection, charm. Characteristics of Taurus: slow-paced, teacher, thoughtful, 5 senses, material, pleasure, sensuality, beauty, stubborn, self-indulgent, lazy, relaxed, possessive, patient, persistent. Remember that we all have good qualities and bad qualities and null qualities and heavy qualities, right? Like, so there's this balance within us and within all the things around us. I'm gonna have to let you go. I'm not gonna be able to read through all of these. What is that? Is that a blueberry? Oh, it's a cupcake. I see it now. It's a cupcake. Hey, baby. Okay. So yeah. So all the elements. So there's this relationship. I think the most important thing about natal charts is to understand that there's a relationship of you And once you understand how the planets were when you were born, what energies you hold, your balance, right? So like baby daddy was like I don't have any air in my chart, and baby daddy was like 7 air signs, right? He was majority air. And I was like, okay, so we're just not compatible because you're like very aloof and I'm very deep. And it just, oh, it's a cupcake muffin. Can you stop that fire alarm sound? That is too loud, friend. Hang on, friend. I gotta get in this. No, you're not gonna do that. I'm in the middle of the video. To be respectful, Mom is in the middle of a video and I just had to leave for 10 minutes getting you your muffin. So anyway, the most important thing is to remember that, first of all, you can find your natal chart free online, like a lot of different places. Hey! I'm in the middle of a video. Such a manipulator. I'm not doing this with you. No, I'm not doing this with you. You're not going to come in here and do with that. You know what you were doing. You're not going to be disrespectful. No. I deserve respect because that's what I give you. You're not going to treat me like that. No, you're not. Bye. Fucking assholes. Kids are assholes. They know what they're doing. He knows what he's doing. He just wants to be relevant. Anyway, if you have any mothering tips on how to not raise a narcissist, please let me know, because I'm very, very fearful of that. But anyway, I should really study his chart more. Actually, that friend I mentioned did break his chart down for me. It was very insightful and interesting. I think the most important thing to remember is that you're more than just your zodiac, your sun sign. In fact, I would argue that like maybe you're affected really heavy or not at all during Mercury retrograde. Like I learned that I'm not really affected during Mercury retrograde because Mercury was in retrograde when I was born. I learned that my anger and my aggression and my willingness to fucking fight when need be comes from the amount of fire I have in my chart. So I present as a Pisces, but my moon sign is a Sagittarius, and my rising sign is a Capricorn. So that's like the Capricorn is represented by the devil in the tarot. So I have the way people see you is your rising sign. How you identify is usually your sun sign, but who you really are is like your moon sign. I could be wrong on that, but like the 3 big ones are your rising, your moon, and your sun. People can tell a lot about you when they find out what those are. So remember, every planet has an element, and all the elements have characteristics, and each zodiac has a planet and an element as well. So you are you have all of these things within you. And so if you struggle with finding balance or discipline, or maybe there's just some traits that you're like, I'm never gonna grow out of these, looking at your natal chart can really help you understand what you need in different aspects of your life, because remember, the houses break up different aspects, and so whatever planet or energy or element is in that house can give you more insight on who you are and what you need to find balance within your life. I'm sorry for the mothering. I'm doing the best I can. Have a good one.